Whoa, we're live. I got extra frothy on the milk today. I was like, I'm gonna have one of those milk
Milk mustache?
mustaches for the show.
Oh, almost kicked my phone over.
Whoa. Now we get to see how messy your room is. No, I'm just kidding.
It's actually pretty clean.
It was very. I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Cleanliness is next to godliness.
Sorry?
I said cleanliness is next to godliness.
Oh, shit. I've got some works to do. Yeah. My word. We're just going to give people a minute or two to join us. So this is our stalling portion. But how's your morning?
Sure. It's pretty good. Woke up pretty early. Today was the first time I got into the gym at 5:30. Haven't done that in a very long time.
Gross. Yeah.
It is a gross. It was pretty gross to get to this point.
Well, it's just, I mean, I worked mornings in radio for over 20 years. Like I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning for a long time. Now that I don't have to, I really believe even more fully that it is wrong. You are not supposed to be at that time. Not at all.
In yogic philosophies, they say that the time between like around 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock is the most spiritual time of the day. And some people call it the witching hour. Some people, say that that's
I thought that was like huh?
Sorry.
So I got to get up earlier and clean my house to get enlightenment. Yeah. That's what you're telling me.
No.
Thank you for depressing me on my birthday.
No, I'm sorry. Happy birthday.
I'm just giving you a hard time. Oh, okay, so Kelly's here. Thank you, Kel, Kathy. Thanks. We got Buffalo, New York in the house. Thanks, Jim. Cheryl. My mom's here, Vic. We got North Carolina in the house. 29 plus GST. We'll sing hard in the Sealy house today, if that's the case. It's like 40% tax. Kidding. It's good. Well, welcome to Virtual Coffee Club. It's Taco Tuesday. This is what we like to call when we have fun talks on a Tuesday. And I'm really excited to introduce my new and future bestest friend of all time, Vik Maan. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for inviting me, especially on your birthday. Well, it was kind of random too. I just picked the day, and you're like, "It's my birthday." Yeah.
You better show up.
Yeah.
And then when you were kind of late there, I was like, "Wow, he's gonna no-show me on my birthday."
No.
It could be a day of public shaming. No, I'm kidding. I would never.
No, I told myself because I was like we said before we went on, I was like, if I don't go to the gym earlier, I'm not gonna go after because I only have a very small window of enthusiasm to get to the gym.
I feel you on the small window of enthusiasm. You are not alone there. But we had planned to chit chat the week that we were doing the Run for Women. And this was a week where we were having a lot of mental health conversations. And you weren't able to join us that week, which is totally fine because today's even better. But what I wanted to chat a bit with you about, to share with the lovely group that joins us every day, is just some conversations around tools that can help people with their mental wellness. And as you know, it's something we're both extremely passionate about helping people with. And you started an initiative to do just that. And I know we've talked about it before on a podcast, but we got some new ears with us today. So will you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, thanks, Jody. So I started the Mental Wealth Campaign a few years ago. And our mission, strictly with the Mental Wealth Campaign, is to empower others to take action on bettering their mental health through the use of traditional and non-traditional mental health tools, techniques, and practices. So when COVID had hit us, and we kind of moved our offering online, and we were able to facilitate and create 70 plus workshops, events, and classes by traditional and non-traditional mental health professionals that allowed people to kind of experiment with different tools and techniques, which our goal is to help them eventually find their own mental wellness recipe. Because I firmly believe like we're all so individual with our needs, especially our mind. We truly know what's going on in here. So it's almost like we must take that initiative to become our own psychologist, our guru, our teacher, and be able to recognize what's going to work for you. So that's been something we've been doing. And with whoever's listening, I would say that there is always hope.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be so grand if you could just hit like the print button and then you just print out what's going on in there? How can I decipher this? That would be so great.
Yeah. That print button, it took me a while. It took me a few years of consecutive journaling to be able to almost do that. Like I can almost do that print button. So on some days, on like a really good day, I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I needed to get out, print out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it takes, and I don't know if dedication would be the right word, but it takes just taking those steps and then diving into finding what that tool is, because each person's is different. I'm sure you've learned this a lot through the pieces that you're doing, is what works for one doesn't always work for another. And so it's up to us to figure out what's our tool.
Yeah. And you're very right, because I used to kind of have that kind of energy attached to it when I first started, like dedication and discipline. But I really now, after all the work we've been doing, I firmly believe it's like more of a devotion than a dedication. Yeah. And when you kind of devote your time to it, it's more loving, as opposed to like approaching it with this energy like I need to or I have to. Devotion is like I want to.
Yeah. No, and I like that, because I think when we're sort of wired a little bit in defiance sometimes. So when we're told we have to do something or we should do something, then there's this weird other, I don't know if it's like a shame spiral that happens on the other side when you don't do it. Same as even going to the gym, right? If you look at that as you're devoting that time to your actual physical wellness instead of, I have to go because of A, B, C. It's that mind shift that makes a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It is that mind shift. And like I was saying, when I've been going to the gym and getting in there at 5:30, it just kind of happened. The girl behind the desk would always challenge me. She's like, you can come in earlier. You can come in earlier. And it was never my plan or my intention. So I playfully got here.
Yeah. Well, that's from taunting. It sounds really joyful.
Yeah, it was a little taunting, a little egging on.
Or wait, motivating. That's what we're supposed to say. That's the mind shift of a taunt, is a motivation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So tell me a bit about, like, how can people access the mental wealth campaign around the world? Is it a Canadian thing? Is it a local thing? Like, what does it look like?
The beautiful thing was we were doing all of our events and services and offerings in Okotoks in person before COVID arrived. And in the back of my mind, it was always, the progression of this we will take it online and offer these services all over the world. But COVID was actually, almost now looking at it, it really helped us get prepared to be able to offer this all over the world. So our website is thementalwealthcampaign.com. I can put it in the chat when we're done. Our offering right now is available. We work with the youth. We work with the elderly. We have, I do a men's group where we work with guys that are 13 plus. We have a mom's group. We have, because I firmly believe, I used to be a business coach. And, one of the things was working with businesses and entrepreneurs is they tell you to really narrow down your niche of who you're working with so that you can attract more people. But with mental wealth, this is like more, this is kind of like a holy endeavor. And I really had to take a look at how was I going to approach this? Like, basically, it's if you have a mind, we want to help empower you. So it's all minds.
All of them. How did it come about? Like, how did you come to this place? How did you create this?
It came from my own journey with my own mental health. I have been in the psych ward. I've collapsed into madness. I almost committed suicide from sadness. That's kind of how I like surmise it now. The more I tell the story, the more I'm able to kind of like really narrow it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I collapsed from madness because of a combination of things at a very young age of being involved in a gang lifestyle and seeing, a lot of things that were not in alignment with my heart and who I truly was. And then that led me to antidepressants and all these different, medications that I didn't know what was doing to me at a young age. That then made me feel even more alone, and that led to the depression, where I was going to commit suicide. And then when I revitalized myself, I actually was in a space where I was able to go online and actually research. I was going to become a Buddhist monk. I literally thought I was going to shave my head and I was going to go to on top of a mountain and chant Om all day. But all day, just oming around. And but I actually started to just chant Om at home, and I started to just dabble in like aromatherapy and all these different like alternative tools and techniques. I didn't have a teacher, so I was able to kind of just play around, and I didn't know what was right or wrong. I was just kind of like a buffet, and I was able to just try this, try that. I revitalized myself. I moved to Okotoks. I became a yoga teacher, an intuitive life coach. I was putting on festivals for the community, health and wellness festivals and open mics, and working with the community, but deep down in my heart, I hadn't truly addressed and let anybody in Okotoks know about my past with my mental health. So when that came out, it was very clear to me where I would, put the rest of my attention for the remainder of my life, and that was with mental wealth. And that idea has blossomed. It took a lot of it took so much. It took so much to whittle away the pain of the past from when it would come up, when I would explain, like how I just explained my past, to be able to truthfully and honestly bring forth a message of love and not harbor any resentment towards what I felt was malpractice, or, because I felt that in with our medical system, but I also felt that in the East with some of these gurus who I think sell fortune cookie wisdom and put you on a bit of a pyramid scheme, and like you were saying earlier, in hopes to attain enlightenment. So I got burned on both sides, and I realized that the answer for myself remained right in the middle, where I was able to not truly identify, well, this is my way of how I'm going to heal my mind, or that's my way of how I'm going to heal my mind. I have a very unique recipe, and I promise you, it's not replicable. I cannot give this recipe to anybody. So my deep desire is for others to truly joyfully experiment until they can find their own, and we hold space for them until they can.
I think that I don't know if it's foundational shit that's built in our lives or if it comes from society, but I think a lot of times we are taken away from the strength we hold inside of ourselves and the knowledge that we have of ourselves and the understanding that we have of ourselves, because we think it has to come from somewhere else. And we get pulled away from that, and we forget knowing that the tools we require are in here. We just have to figure 100%. Out how to pull them out. But it's hard to grasp that, don't you think?
Very hard to grasp it. It took me 15 years to grasp that, because, and then you think about it, people that go to psychologists and therapists and yoga teachers and gurus, and they go to them hat in the hand, and they go to them in this position of, let's just say, weakness, for lack of a better word, and they're desperate, and they have now stripped themselves of that honor and that strength from within to be able to meet that individual as a peer, not as somebody who is below them, in a sense that they need, without them, that they would not be able to heal their mind or their body or their spirit. So when you go now, it took me quite some time to truly understand that we are our own teachers, our own gurus, our own psychologists, our own therapists. And when we go and we meet these professionals, or when we hear a podcast, or when we speak to somebody, it's as if we can choose whether or not we allow them to consult with us. They can consult with us, give us counsel. But at the end of the day, if we're not going in a direction where eventually, inevitably, we'll become our own nutritionists, our own psychologists, our own leader. We lead ourselves. And if that's not the goal, then you're gonna find these patterns of like mental anguish and despair are going to repeat themselves.
But I don't think we want to say to people, don't seek out help.
Oh, no, not at all.
Just to clarify, I think,
Yeah.
which just to clarify, is those become incredible partners in your journey. Instead of the person telling you what to do, they're like a partner, is how I like to look at it. Because
you can counsel from them. Yeah.
Deciphering your own gibberish. I know of mine. When I journal, I'm just like, what? Who is this person today? But it's allowing these cool partners to come into your life to help you decipher that, so you can learn more about yourself, so you can have an understanding about why you do something or think something, or because sometimes we need a third party to kind of be like, what about that?
Yeah, I learned that from my years in coaching. When I really got into a good stride with my coaching, the sales coaching was very kind of black and white, but when it became intuitive life coaching, there's like this gray area. And in that gray area of being truly objective was when I found I did my best work. And that's kind of what it is. It's giving objective counsel and holding space for somebody. And that's like, I like the way you put it. It's just like you find these people as partners to bring along your journey. And I, it does take some experimenting, time, patience. It takes, you can do it within a community, but you can also do it by yourself. Yeah. So it's like those options are all available, and it's just like, it's just, I think ultimately at the end of the day, it's not so much a crisis as it is everybody's birthright to do so, to really feel empowered, to tap into the mind and see how beautiful it is. And like what you once thought was this piece of you that turned against you has now become your best friend. That's when you just get back into the moments in life that bring you the most joy and happiness.
I would challenge anyone listening right now who's having coffee with us. How many times have you had a moment where you were, if it was a crossroads you had hit, or something you were struggling with, or when you were just feeling down, and you call a friend and you're like, I think it's this, this, and this, and this. And most of the time the friend's like, yeah, See, you're just needing that because but you got to bounce it off somebody. So whatever that looks like for you, I just like to continue to encourage people, whether it's tools you learn in the mental wealth campaign, or that friend circle that you trust undoubtedly, or a professional that you're having conversations with. And that's awesome.
Yeah. I like that too, because it's like you can get the knowledge, you can get the wisdom, you can find the truth, but without application, it won't only take you so far. So it's like, I like to look at it, it's like truth and wisdom and knowledge without application is like macaroni without cheese. Who wants macaroni without cheese?
Maybe some soy sauce in a pinch, but just really.
No. Let's not get silly here. I know it's your birthday.
Just say soy sauce noodles is also good, but I get what you're saying. I'm just being a dork. Well, and I think we've probably all had those moments of needing insurance. Or I think too, for anybody who would want to share in the comments, how many times have you, even if you've read a book or you've read chapters of books or something more than once, right? How many times do you get a different message the second time you read it because you're in a different space to receive a different message? Like, it's fascinating what our brains can do.
Yeah, fresh perspective means everything. I just reread 2 books I reread this year that really hit home to me every time are The 4 Agreements and The Alchemist. And yeah, and every time I read them, it's like,
The 4 Agreements every freaking year.
Yeah. And I bet every time you read it, like you said, it's just like you just pick up something different. You're just like,
yeah. Do you remember the first time you read it? How impactful that was?
I remember, so when I went for my yoga teacher training, they had a library of books, and the shaman, he gave me the book. He's like, read this. And at that time, I looked at the book. I'm like, whatever, man. I just want to go do the yoga things. I don't want to read this book. And then I think my ex at the time had the book. and she was reading it. I'm like, this book just keeps popping into my life. And then
You're like, why?
when
I
I
wonder why.
wonder why. And then when I finally did read it, the simplicity in the lessons were so sophisticated. I knew them to be true. Like when something's so, what do they say? They say like, if you truly, when you comprehend an idea or a philosophy, if you cannot explain it in simple terms, you truly do not understand it. So like, that's how I kind of knew that this book, as simple as it may seem, only 4 agreements, quick read, simple as it may seem, is just a boatload of wisdom.
They just, like I finished it and I was like, holy bleep. I'm like, it's so simple and so not simple that I was like, but if we could do it, if we could follow those 4 things, you imagine this world, like it would be dynamic. Okay. I have them written on my fridge. Do you know what they are off the top of your head?
So don't take anything personally, and then never make assumptions. Always do your best, and then why do I always go backwards? What's the first one?
Be impeccable with your word.
Be impeccable with your word.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, gold.
Yeah. I always, when I'm trying to remember them, I always take out the word assumption and put in expectation. Probably the same thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But, right. So those 4 things are so simple. You're like, yeah, I never do that, but we do it every day, over and over.
In our minds too, and that's I use that book as an example because it's if you want to better your mental health, read that book and hopefully you can gain some kind of insight into how you can apply these agreements, because they're these 4 agreements. So when you make these agreements with yourself, I think it's one thing to say, don't make assumptions, be impeccable with your word, do your best, and you're just going to be just tip top. But it's like, instead of looking at it that way, you really have to look at them and consciously make that agreement with yourself. Okay, Vik, don't take anything personally. Don't, like, when you read stuff on social media, when you hear it, when you give yourself examples, let that kind of lesson sink in and deepen so that you can truly grasp the understanding and carry that with you.
Yeah. I love it. See, this is how I knew we were meant to be bestest friends, because your 2 favorite books are my 2 favorite books. So
yeah, look, I got it right here. Even when I'm not, that's like, Oh, I bet you the people that are listening are just, if you haven't read it, I bet we sold you on the book now.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll have to like do a contest and give away a copy or something.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
We're gonna do that. I think there's things for us to do together. When you come back to Alberta in the fall, get ready. We're gonna light it.
We're gonna give away so many freaking books.
I just like already. I'm like, my brain's like, idea. I'm not gonna say them out loud right now because we're gonna make them wait for it. But you and I, there's something big coming. I feel.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you gotta walk into your destiny as opposed to running, which I used to do all the time.
Yeah. I'd run into it and fall down and be like, no, that couldn't have been it. No.
You just run it and just like, boom.
Next destiny, please. This one just smacked in your head. Yeah. That seems too awesome. I better look for a different version.
Yeah. That's like this.
That's my problem right there. Yeah. I feel you. Well, I want to be conscious of people's time. We usually just have a 20-minute coffee chat, so I don't want to keep you too much longer, but you're going to have to come back on because I feel like we have 1,001 conversations to have.
Oh, we can have so many combos.
Yeah. So you're going to be
like
a new character
now that we go into those favorite books.
Yeah. Just even going through that. We'll have Vik days every month. Yeah.
Jody and Vik. And here's your little birthday rhyme real quick. I didn't tell you when it was going to happen. I said the end. Me and you are friends. We do not pretend. The first time you had me on your show, it was a blast. We met through Fauna, and I'm grateful for that. And when we meet together back in Okotoks, we're going to give the people a damn good show. Happy birthday.
Yeah. You are so lovely. As always. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you for this wonderful morning. And again, people are like, yes, we want to know more books. Good idea. So we'll create something and we'll move forward. Even before you come back, we'll do some online
Sure,
stuff
for
and
sure.
share more with people. And thank you for being
Thank
a part
you.
of my birthday morning. I couldn't have had a better guest today. So thank you.
Happy
Love you
birthday.
so.
Love you too.
Friends, I hope you have a great day. My birthday wish, if you were like, Jody, what would you like for your birthday today? So my challenge to you is I would like you to set out to do a random act of kindness today to another person you come across it. Whether you buy them a coffee, you compliment them on something they're wearing, you just tell them they're had to have a great day, something. Doesn't have to be something you purchase, but if you wanted to randomly surprise people with something, that would be my wish today, is you be kind to another person. Would be so freaking amazing. So do that today, and we will see you back here tomorrow morning. Okay. Bye, Vic.
Bye. Enjoy your birthday.
Thank you for all the birthday wishes, Scott. If it wasn't for social media, geez, you really feel like you're a rock star on your birthday. It's like, oh, thanks for the 100 birthday wishes. Ooh, yeah, it's good. All right.